Welcome to the Advanced Projects by Progressus video overview of the Progress AIA Billing features. This video provides a walkthrough of the process of creating AIA compliance progress billings with Advanced Projects by Progressus. We'll go through the process of creating and editing a progress billing, creating and printing the invoice, approving it, and printing the first application. We're going to take a look at progress billing, which can be used for construction billing. We'll start in the Projects list in Advanced Projects. Select a project from the project plan and then go to Billing and select Progress Billing. A notification appears that there are no initial progress billings found, and clicking Yes to the message allows us to begin the first progress billing on this project. This will create the first application. Here's the billing page. We can see the information that is defaulted from the project, such as the project name, the contract information, if it was part of this. In this example, we're on application 1 and we are doing the first version of that application. If an invoice or credit memo has been created, you would be able to see that as well. Currently, the status is open as we're working on it for the first time. The application date will be the last date for the billing date. For this one, we're going to do everything in January, so by entering a from date and a to date, this allows us to promote change notices that are created within this date range, so they become more apparent on the AIA billing page. The entire contract value can be entered in the Contract Value field. The project manager and currency information are displayed here, and you can also set up other people here as well. You can also set up a default retention percentage for both regular billing and a different one for stored materials, in case it's more. I also have a contact section, and here I can select a different contact type. For example, I could select owner. I can then select an owner contact code from within Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, and that would allow me to print on that actual billing report. I can also select my architect, my engineer, and more. These would be all attached to the customer, so one would have them for reference. Once I have that done, I'm going to start working on my progress billing line. I'm just going to start with the first item number. My different item types, item, regular, will just be a normal billing line. If I want to do a manual tax, I would select the tax line. The other line can be used for things like expenses or maybe one-time bill items. And then of course I also have apply deposit, in case the customer sends in a deposit and I want to reduce what's due because of that deposit. For this example, I'm going to select a cost type of labor and select my task as the initial meeting. If I was doing a change order, I would put the change order information here. The initial description can be changed also if needed. For my billing type on this one, I'm going to use percent complete. I also have the option of doing completed quantity, and I'll show that on another line. Let's use $50,000 for the scheduled amount on this line. Typically when you set this up, you would set the progress billing lines up first, and then come back in later at the end of the month to actually be able to bill something. I'll go ahead and add a second line and select material for the cost type, design as my task, and instead of percent complete for this billing type, this one is completed quantity. Next, I'm going to go to the scheduled quantity field and enter 100 that I'm going to build, and enter my unit price as $15 a piece. What this will do is update the scheduled amount to that amount based on that quantity times the price. Now, if it was actually time to bill the item, I would come in and I would enter my percent complete. For this example, let's say it was 10% complete on this line. It'll automatically calculate the work amount. This is the representation of the 10% complete times the scheduled bill amount. If something has been billed previously on previous applications, we would see that here in the Build to Date field. But as this is my first application, my work to be billed is the same as my work amount. On subsequent applications, my work amount will subtract the previous billed to date amount to arrive at the work to be billed amount on this application. Across to the right, you'll see that the system automatically calculated the retention percentage from the header, as well as the retention amount. You'll see that all the fields work the same, where you have the amount, the to date, and the amount, this bill. On the next line, I'm going to enter stored materials. So let's say I have not actually billed any of the items I'm working on, but that I've used $500 of material so far. The system will then use the stored materials retention percentage and calculate the stored materials retention amount. All of this is then added together at the end to give you the total billing. Now you'll notice that you also have the option of checking the tax liable checkbox on each line. If I would use this, when I create the invoice, the system would automatically calculate the tax based on my customer's tax preferences. Next, I'm going to select a GL account here for both of my items as the default for my invoice, so I don't have to do it later. So now at this point, I can say I'm ready to bill. Maybe I'd like to check it first or get the customer's approval. I would go into Reports, Progress Billing Reports. And here I have all the different reports. Here I can print the 702 and the 703, but I also have generic formats, one with quantity and one without. So let's go ahead and print the 703 first. Once we select it, it opens a screen that shows you the application and version that you're working on. I'm going to go ahead and preview this one. When it comes up, you'll be able to see the details of what we put in. You can see this period I'm billing $5,000 for completed, but I also have $500 for stored materials. The system calculates a percent complete based on this information. Retention only shows up if it's variable rate retention. When I go to the 702 report, which is the summary billing statement for that, it will then show me my entire contract and the amount. So as you can see, I have my original contract sum, less how much has been completed so far, my retention. This is now showing me what the customer is going to be invoiced for and how much do I have finished, including how much to finish, including retention. If I had any change orders, they would show up here, additions as well as deductions. On the right side, you have information where the customer would fill it out and approve the construction billing. Now at this point, I'm ready to invoice. I've completed my first application, but before I bill, I'll need to approve my invoice. On the project, there's a place to indicate the individuals that can approve things. For this project, I'm one of the approvers. So, once it's approved, at this point I can create an invoice. I'm going to create the invoice. It will tell me that it's been created and what the number is. I can then view that invoice. Once I review the invoice and I see it's correct, I can see my amounts, less retainage. I can select to post this by selecting Posting from the ribbon, and then Post. I'm going to select No to open the invoice and go back to the Progress Billing page. At this point, the status is posted. I can see the invoice number, I can drill down to it, and I've completed my first application. Thanks for your time in reviewing what's new in Progressus Advanced Project Progress Billings. For more information on AIA Billing in Advanced Projects by Progressus, see the Help content link included here. Or review the second video in this series, which covers how to create a new application, create a change notice, print the new invoice, approve changes, review the Progress Billing fact box, and create a new version. We'll also review the available AIA-compliant Progress Billing reports in more detail.